Okay, so here's Female Dating Strategy episode number 4. Now, before we even get started with this episode, I just wanted to make a couple of statements that I felt in regards to these female dating strategy subreddits. Honestly, the more and more that I read this, I feel like this is just an environment for these toxic feminists to voice their radicalized opinions, to hold men responsible, or not even hold them responsible, to blame them for absolutely everything wrong in their lives, and to take no responsibility within themselves. So, we're going to look at another one of these threads and look at the various strategies and opinions that are offered in order to help the dating pool. So, today we will be dealing with the question of, do pretty girls get treated better? I can just anticipate from this one there's going to be a lot of radicalized women who are going to say pretty girls are subjected to men who just want to use them for sex, or that pretty girls have no brains, that they are just tools to be used, and that's the only way men will see them, and they'll only attract these lower value men and never have anyone see them for their wisdom or their knowledge or their personality. It's always constantly attacking the men on this forum. I don't really see a lot of women advocate for men being of value. So it really starts to get to me after a little while, and I think all these feminist movements are really, and the birth of this new female dating strategy thread has caused so many women to have these warped views of what relationships are, and to seek advice from those who should never be giving advice because they don't know how to function in a normal relationship themselves. Nevertheless, let's get started. I notice my friends who are conventionally beautiful, they get treated by their boyfriends way better than non-beautiful friends. It's sad, but true. Guys always pay attention, and they never ask to go Dutch, always plan trips and surprise gifts. But my average friends have a hard time keeping a guy, and I feel that they tolerate more because they know that they can attract guys they want as much as more beautiful friends. And I thought it was Asian thing until I moved to the States, and it's the same. Literally low-value males, or guys in general, would go out of their way to make an effort, and it was an eye-opening for me. I mean, just from the get-go, are these friends who you see as average friends, not putting any effort or not valuing themselves at all? Are they trying? Are they trying to make themselves look good, or behave appropriately, or behave with dignity in front of males? Or is it just this this expectation that the males have to do everything and they can just revert back to this not putting any effort into the relationship, not trying or going the extra length? Women tend to have, or women on this thread I should say, not all women in general, but women on this thread definitely tend to see it as the male's responsibility to put in all the effort, and the females can just sit back and just watch them drool over them. So let's take a look at the responses. And by the way, I think it goes across various cultures. I know there's different cultural norms, but I think one thing that is true across all cultures is a man does value a female who puts the effort into her physical appearance and who tries to present herself in a classy way. Let's look at the responses. Initially they do, but they also tend to attract all kind of posers. Men pretending to be something they're not. Your basic wolf in sheep's clothing. Speaking as a pretty girl. Honestly, you can tell which men want to just sleep with you right away and which men are actually valuing you as an individual. Not all men are just coming and trying to get into bed with you at the first second. I think that there's a difference between being a pretty girl and dressing like a whore, dressing slutty, dressing in a way that would attract men who are these so-called posers. You need to have respect for yourself, but you also need to present yourself to men in a way that they'll respect you too. It's not just men who have to put in the effort, but women do too. To explain further, he'll act nice from the beginning until he gets his way, and or gets bored with you. They like to collect women. Who has this person been dating? Has she only been, sleeping with, I should say? It's as if she has this approach that all men are the devil, all men are evil from the start. It's not even this idea of, men can potentially be attracted to pretty girls because they put the time and effort into their appearance, but rather just right from the start, it's blaming the men, acting as if they're all dogs or they're all beastly. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, someone's agreeing. And if you are naive, you won't notice that even with all his compliments and bravado, he's not noticing. Well, you, as a person. Again, other crazy feminists supporting the crazy views of this crazy subreddit. Yep, there have been too many times to count where I've had men come up to me and talk to me as if I'm dumb, as if I have to be having immediately profound thoughts for their sake. This doesn't happen all the time. You people are just going into these conversations with the approach that a man's going to perceive you in that way. If you approach a scenario with some sort of unjustified entitlement, then of course they're not going to treat you with respect. Okay, having been on both sides of the fence. How can you be on both sides of the fence? I mean, I guess you can go from that whole ugly duckling to a beautiful swan, but it's rare. I can tell you what the difference is. When you know you're pretty, you know another man is around the corner, so you don't feel the need to tolerate shit from losers. The aura of desperation falls away from you. Thank you, that is true. If you have confidence, if you believe in your value, then yeah, you're not going to attract these scum that seem to be all over this Reddit thread. You got to kiss a lot of frogs to get to your prince. Pretty girls kiss the frog once. We don't keep kissing the same frog, hoping that one day he'll become the prince. And we don't settle for the frog thinking it's better than being alone. So much of dating isn't about guys. It's about us and what we're willing to tolerate. This is the first person in a long time that I've seen actually put any responsibility on a female. I don't think necessarily that this whole illusion of there being 10 frogs you need to kiss before you find a prince, I think that there are too many women who have these high expectations and they do not want to work for it at all. So of course a man's not going to want to be with one of these toxic feminists who just see a man's sole purpose as being the provider, but not having to make any effort themselves. So people who require and expect better get treated better. Very true. People who tolerate what's tossed their way get exactly what the other person feels like giving them. Yeah, and people who approach a situation as if they're better or as if they deserve more, but don't give anything, deserve to be treated like crap. Okay, so this is responding to one of the comments in the initial poster. But my average friends have a hard time keeping a guy, and I feel they tolerate more because they know that they can't attract guys they want as much as more beautiful friends. That's it, but it's a belief, not necessarily real knowledge. Men actually talk about this openly when it comes to being fat. So here we go. Here's a female speaking of what men talk about and how men think. They openly joke with each other about how you can ask a fat woman to do any degrading shit. They think the same for any kind of woman who doesn't fit the ideal. I mean, honestly, overweight women, you're not putting the time and effort into your physical appearance. If you did, then you'd slim down and then more men would approach you. I have a feeling that this poster is probably overweight. So, and these men want women thinking like that he's the best she can get, even though he's abusive. It's typical abusive behavior, really. You have clearly been abused by a male, or you're playing this victim card. It's constantly the victim card with these posters. But what it really is low self-esteem. You can have high self-esteem and good boundaries no matter how you look. Likewise, there are the most conventionally attractive women being treated like shit because they don't demand better. Some are celebrities, so you know they're not just gorgeous, they're rich and successful too, but they don't value themselves. Men also have weird ideas about good-looking women. Sometimes they want to take them down a peg, or if they're worse looking, they start getting big for their boots, and they think they can upgrade further. I am, at very best, ordinary looking. and I'm happily married. It really is about attitude and self-respect. Don't have this aura of being so worthy, though, if you don't actually do anything. This idea that every female is so worthy of a high-valued male, what the hell makes them high-valued females? What effort have they put in? Um, this approach is just becoming so obscene, and it's ruining relationships these days. It's ruining this whole culture that we have, this whole radicalized toxic view of relationships where women are not asking for equality at all. There's no equality happening. What they're asking for is to be bowed down to be treated as a better gender, as more valuable than males. And it's just reducing males to this state where they don't want to put in that effort to any of these radicalized females. So the pool of women that they're actually going after, that they see value in, is very slim. And therefore, they won't at all go the extra length to satisfy any of these entitled females. So it is true, but it's because pretty girls tend to have higher self-esteem. If you're pretty with low self-esteem, they will treat you like shit. Maybe pretty girls have high self-esteem because they put effort into it and men treat them appropriately. It depends. I get approached by a lot of men wanting friends with benefit scenarios. Unattractive men with audacity. Oh no, unattractive men can't go and talk to you. Catcalls every day, and the worst. Men pretending to care for me or wanting to be my friends to try to get sex. They compliment me a lot, but like a commenter said, they don't see me as a person. Some exes saw me as a trophy while still treating me like trash. Maybe my personality isn't likable. Probably not. I honestly don't know anyone. That's why I don't date. You've seemed to given up on relationships completely. Don't tell me you never used your looks in order to get further ahead in a certain situation. This whole approach that women shouldn't be catcalled and everything, okay, maybe sometimes it becomes a little excessive, but in reality, if you have it and you want to use it to your benefit, that tends to be what happens. So this giving up on dating approach, I mean, that just goes to show that you've been sort of completely uh, subjected to this toxic view, and you've been brainwashed by this whole new wave of thinking. Okay, so that was the end of the thread now. The very interesting and humorous views that women in this dating strategy Reddit post have. Now let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on being a 27-year-old virgin? Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and make sure to subscribe for more.